What's up, Internet? I'm Daniel, the Pitch Professor, and I have a new video that I'd like to dissect together with you. Sell me this pen. That's the title of the video. I bet you've tried to sell a pen or two. Maybe people have tried to sell a pen or two to you. But it all goes back to the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, where the legendary Leonardo DiCaprio plays the even more legendary Jordan Belfort. Now, I found a video of the man himself being challenged to sell a pen. Now, I haven't seen the whole video because that's the whole point of this channel. I want to see them the first time together with you and react and respond to them just the way the real audience does, raw and pure, and then give you my thoughts to that. If you're thinking, dude, why can't you do that? Well, I've been working on this for more than 10 years. I've been a pitch trainer, a moderator, and a keynote speaker for as long as I can think. I love this, and the one thing I've noticed is it always happens in the moment. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the video. And as always, I'm just going to share my opinion, and if you have a different opinion, that's brilliant. Share it with me, write a comment below, and that would be fantastic. Now, let's take a look.
Hello, Mr. Belfort. Thank you so much for being here. I have one question, and I'm a huge fan of your film. So,
quick thing, I just noticed that boy is nervous. I mean, I understand him. He says, "Hello, Mrs. Belfort." That's a bad start. But let's see. That's the first thing that caught my attention. I mean, I understand if you want to ask a question in the audience and you get given that microphone, you're going to be nervous as hell. Two things about that. Number one is certainly take that opportunity to ask your question. A lot of people just don't do it in the moment because they go like, "I'm so nervous, I don't want to do it." Do it. And number two, when you're given the microphone, before you ask the question, inhale, exhale, and then go. And don't call him Mrs. Belfort. I think he's exactly the type of persona who probably does not appreciate that. Anyhow, let's go.
so this just comes quite naturally.
Oh, dude.
Can you please sell me this pen?
Second thing is if you are asking a question to someone like Jordan Belfort or potentially maybe very, very famous people and you start fumbling inside of your jacket, do you understand where it is you're doing that? I mean, I wouldn't ask the US president something like that while you're fumbling inside of your jacket because probably the Secret Service is going to take care of you or not. Didn't say that loud, did I? But the point being is you might want to prepare that a little more. And again, understand your surroundings. Sounds like a weird thing, but yeah, I've had one or two situations where I've seen people fumble in their jackets at the wrong point in time, and that ended badly. Anyhow, he's got the pen, and he's challenged Mr. Belfort. Let's go.
You know, no one's ever asked me that before. It's the first time. So let me tell you what that whole exercise really stands for, right? So the whole sell me this pen narrative is really, it's a test that you give to a salesman to see if they really understand what selling's all about. If you ask someone who's not a professional salesman, who doesn't have the right instincts, they'll start actually trying to sell you a pen. This pen is great. This pen writes upside down. It's the best value for its money. This pen will last forever. Here, buy this pen. Here's the thing. The only one rational thing you could do when someone says, "Sell me this pen," and that is to start asking them questions. So tell me, how long have you been in the market for a pen?
Just want to cut in here. A couple of things. I like the way he's responded to it. Number one is, that's right. I've seen so many pitches, and that's kind of the angle I want to take here, is where people try and oversell a product. They try and shove a product down your neck and say, "Look, this is the best product because this is why, blah, 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 blah." And they make it, how should I say, so product focused, and they try and so oversell based on something they assume the other side would like. And now to take it and give it some more context, what does it mean for you? If you're given the opportunity to pitch no matter where, in front of a company or at a show, or maybe you're holding a speech, I don't know what it is. Don't just have a random sales pitch where you kind of oversell and try and shove down people's neck, but rather before you go on stage, actually long before you even go towards the stage, but when you're invited, start asking questions. Try and understand what it is you're getting into. And in my case, that means, so as a pitch trainer, speaker and whatnot, and in your case as well, that's why you're watching this video, it means, how long is my pitch? Who is the audience? Who are the people deciding on the pitch? And then we take it a level deeper. Then we try and understand, what skill set do they have? What knowledge do they have? Maybe even further, if there's investors listening as an example, what are companies they've invested in? How do these investments maybe impact what you do? So maybe you're pitching something that would grossly disrupt their market. Maybe you're pitching something that would be the perfect fit to one of their companies. And then you start adapting to it. That's the one thing. So you're not just on stage and shooting out that one pitch. And the other thing is, which I think is hypercritical, is understanding, now I'm deviating a bit, but I still find it super important, is understanding the importance of how what you say is actually perceived. What does it mean? Let's say we talk about radical innovation, just as that word. If I use the word radical innovation in front of a bunch of students at a tech university, this is something which is considered amazing. That's a great perspective of change. It's exciting. It's great. If I use the word radical innovation at a mid-sized company somewhere in the middle of nowhere that's not doing really well and the audience is 50 plus, radical innovation doesn't mean hooray, let's go, but it means that's quite dangerous. That's something that sounds scary. We don't like this, something that could be endangering us. And even a step further, if you're at the dentist and your dentist says, this is going to require radical innovation, it's going to scare the living shit out of you. So the point being is also understand how the words, the pictures, the language, the analogies you use impact differently just from your surrounding. That's one thing. Something else I also just noticed was Jordan Belfort's body language. It was really interesting. He was leaning back right now, kind of like this, and trying to be like, he was trying to own the room, I think, to a certain degree, and also trying to be very relaxed, saying, look, yeah, ask me anything. I'm good for that. I'm good for that. And then the question is asked, and then he starts answering somewhere, kind of like, yeah, okay, starts building a bit of a connection, then he snaps on. Suddenly he's leaning forward, and now he's on. And I think it's so interesting to see that moment where people's body languages switch on from like going, yeah, okay, I'll kind of answer the question, and then they go like, boom, on. So you might want to re-watch that video. By the way, the original is somewhere down below in the links if you want to see it without my rambling in between. But anyway, I'll just go back a bit where you see the switching on moment and then you have a softer transition.
Is to start asking them questions. So tell me, how long have you been in the market for a pen? What type of pens have you used in the past? Is it business or personal? Typically when you buy a pen, what type of money do you spend on one? Do you buy expensive pen? The key to selling is to find out, step one, what are your clients' needs, values? What pain are they looking to resolve? What do they need? And you're looking to fill that need at the most basic level, right? Well, when you just go out and try to sell something,
just want to cut in here. That's great bit of information where he says, figure out what your client's needs are, their values, and also kind of like the market behind it. What does it mean when you're pitching? It means trying to understand not what your product does and saying, this is my product, this is the technological aspect it has, and blah, 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 but saying, look, this is what my product, my solution would do for you. Or even better, saying, look, we understand that blah, blah, blah has been a big challenge for you, and we understand you need to change this within the next 5 years. Therefore, we can offer you a solution that does blah. You go like, yeah, but that's cryptical. What does it mean? It means before you go on stage, do your research. Maybe you can find some publications, some interviews of the people you're pitching to, some public statements which you can build upon, and then show them that you know what their challenges are and that you have a solution for that challenge. And not just simple, here's what I do, buy my product, figure out how it's going to work for you, I don't care. But rather, I took my time. I did my due diligence to understand what the challenge is for you. And I'm going to make it work. I'll give you an example. About 7-8 years ago, my tax accountant, he's great. He's really great. Told me and said, look, Daniel, I can see that usually all your tax stuff, you send it in the middle of the night on the last day. And I know you don't like this kind of stuff. What if I'd found a way to save you 8 hours of all this invoicing and tax stuff per month? I was like, I'm in. Yes, let's go. And he said, the best thing is it's only about 70 euros. And it was like, okay, I'm going to save 8 hours at 70 euros. Yes, easy. I mean, my hour's worth more than that. So is yours. So that was an easy thing. He knew what my problem was, time. He knew that I didn't like all the stuff around tax. Back in the day, it was taking every single invoice, every single receipt, every single bill, and taking pictures of it, doing an Excel of it, blah, blah. It was tedious work. And he knew I didn't like that. So his pitch was really straightforward. If he would have done it differently, he'd said, hey, Daniel, there's a new accounting software, which could be really exciting. It costs 70 euros a month. Would you like to try it? And I said, no, I don't care for accounting software. I don't give a shit about that. Go away. Leave me alone. So the point being was I wasn't buying the software. I didn't care about accounting software. What I was buying was time, convenience. And this is something Jordan Belfort builds upon, and this is something you should build upon as well, is trying to understand what is it your customers are really buying. That's why I like the whole sell me the pen thing. People never really buy the pen. But let's stop listening to my interpretations. Let's continue on with Mr. Belfort.
And what you're saying is, I don't give a shit about you. I'm just going to ram this down your throat, right? I want to know what you need. I want to know what you've done in the past. So you ask questions. If I ask someone, hey, so how long have you been in the market for a pen? They say, oh, I'm not looking for a pen. Great, have a nice day. I don't sell people the things that people aren't looking for. So I wouldn't try to sell you a pen if you're not looking to buy a pen. And if someone said to me, I say, wow, this person really knows how to sell. Because the biggest mistake that rookie salesmen make is they try to sell to everybody versus weeding out people who are not interested and only selling to those who are. So
just want to jump in here. There's so much in this for so many reasons. One thing is you don't have to sell to everyone. What does it mean? As a startup founder, you don't have to go to every conference. You don't have to pitch at every opportunity. Not every investor is the right one for you. Not every client is the right one for you. And that's a process you have to go through. You need to understand step by step who are the right clients for you, who are the right conferences, or what are the right conferences for you. And learning, the most important thing is also saying no. Yesterday, I had to say no to a client, potential client, and they wanted my services, and I made an offer, and they made a counter offer, and we could quite quickly see there wasn't a fit. So I had to decline. That's not always nice. It's unpleasant. But the point being is sometimes if you feel there's not the given fit, could be on a financial level, could be also down to values, it's absolutely right to say no. It could be hard though. And the other thing is, you do not want to oversell what it is what you do. Not everyone really needs what you're selling. And that's what's one of the trickiest parts as well, is understanding that there's certain clients or investors who are not the right ones. What that I mean is, if we're looking from the investor perspective, look for smart investors who have, the right contacts, the right know-how, the right network besides the money. Having someone who just has the money but none of that, it's a different value proposition. And if you're selling, yes, sales is great, but then again, you don't want to sell something to people that are not happy. By the way, if you're going like, well, yeah, sales is not the thing I kind of like. Honest opinion, if you're a startup CEO, sales is your job. It's that simple. If you are one of the founders in a startup, you are the ones selling. Nothing else to discuss. Getting professional salespeople in is a nice way of going around this, trying to not do it. But to be honest, I've met hundreds of successful entrepreneurs, founders of unicorns, you name it. I've worked with them all. And so often have I heard people that go like, I don't want to do the pitching. I don't want to do the sales thing. This is, The ones who are successful adapt to that challenge and grow with that challenge. It might take them a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years, but at the end of the day, all of them have become very good at sales and very good at presenting because that's the way it has to be done. It has to be your job and not to hand it out. Something else I also noticed with Jordan here, Jordan gets quite excited. Jordan is a high energy character. I mean, if you watch the movie, you see that. But the point being is he's sometimes so full of energy that it kind of swallows his words. He goes, "Oh, excited," and that's something. It's interesting that he still does that, although he's such a professional. Slow down. Even if you're excited, slow down, because in many cases your audience won't understand you. And I think that's also a bit of Jordan's technique, is being this super high energy, super aggressive alpha sales dude who sells to you. And by that, I think also sales quite often, not just because of him, but quite often get a kind of a bit of a negative picture. But sales is not about selling, in my opinion. Sales is about creating value to the other side and value to you and finding that fit. Now back to Jordan. It's just such an interesting video I kind of stumbled about, and let me just go back a bit.
They try to sell to everybody versus weeding out people who are not interested and only selling to those who are. So I ask questions, but not any question. I ask pointed questions to identify what type of pens you've used in the past, how much money you have. Now, the pen is like a euphemism for any product, right? By doing that, I can get a good sense of what you're about. And then when I'm done asking my questions, and I know what I need to know, I'll say, well, based on what you said to me, this pen is the perfect fit. Let me tell you why. And now I'm actually matching my pen to what you need, and I tailor my presentation to fill that need, and it's much more elegant. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Okay. Oh, there's Dragon's Den. And there's an ad now. Back to this. Now, LinkedIn is getting a bit of a fair share of this. There's more to it. So I really like the part where you're saying he's trying to listen to what it is, what you need, and then matching the product to your needs. But I think in Jordan's case, what it also seemed like is he's going to sell you his pen no matter what. And that's something you shouldn't do. You should also understand when it does not make sense to sell your product. And that it's not always about closing. It's about creating long-term value. I think Jordan Belfort is very much about the short-term value part, but I don't know. Still, understand when you're looking at all these sales dudes in the internet, they're usually dudes, is try and weed out what makes sense for you and weed out what does not make sense for you. And I think overselling is a bad part, and still understand what it is you might want to take out. I think with Jordan, it's also, he seems a lot like someone who reads you really well, tries to get the right words in, and then makes you buy something you probably don't really need long term. You might want to give it a thought if that's the right thing for you or not. I strongly believe in creating long-term value, long-term relationships, and that based on long-term authentic value. In that sense, if you like this video and want to stick around long-term with me, hit that like button. If you want to create long-term value, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to avoid, I didn't even mention that yet, but FOMO, the fear of missing out, Jordan Belfort is very good at that as well, you might want to hit that bell button. In that sense, thank you very much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and see you next time. Bye-bye.